Good morning, Enid. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you once again on this Thursday, July 7. Heat advisory, no really any need to tell you that. It's already a warm 81 degrees right here at 7:30 on this Thursday morning. High today's 102, and again, that heat advisory, so be mindful today. But grab a cup of coffee, stay with us for the next 30 minutes. We'll try to chill things or cool things out for you because we have a great show. We have a very special guest, came all the way from Enid, the state capitol, to the ETN studios to talk just to you. So stay with us. Good morning, Enid. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, Enid. Again, thank you for joining us on this July 7. I guess it's, you know, I saw the other day, Christmas in July. That's scary. That tells us that the year is half over, and anybody's talking Christmas in July reminds us that, whoa, how many days till Christmas? Somebody figure that up for us. Thank you for joining us. Again, there's a heat advisory. I think Penn put together a little graphic for us. Thank you, Penn, that shows what's taking place today. In other words, it's going to feel like it's going to be 150 today. Hot enough to melt tires, I think. But seriously, 105 to 113 degree in that range. So there is that heat advisory. I mean, it's already 81 at 7:30 in the morning, so be mindful of that. Let's take a look at our statewide temps. When I woke up on the farm this morning, I went out on the back porch and just felt that south wind just really blowing at 20 some miles an hour. And then you can see how warm it is. Tishomingo, I haven't been to Tishomingo in a long time, but they're all the way to 79. Never been to Ball Hill. I used to do water skiing up at Hula. So, but there's a couple places. Texoma, I've been there. Navajo, have not. And I guess, is that Bode? Well, that's our state representative. He's our Oklahoma history person. He should know. How do you pronounce, is that Bado or Bado? We'll find out. So anyway, those are our statewide temps. The 3-day forecast, in case you're planning something, hope everybody had a great July 4th weekend. Well, upper 90s. It's going to be hot. But again, this is July. We expect this. And this is usually when I say, come on, September. Come on, October. I'm ready. Give me 2 weeks of hot and I'm ready to move on. So, well, again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being with us on our 77th show. And we have some birthdays that we're going to mention here in a little bit, but right now it's time to find out what happened overnight in news across the state. And with that, the Oklahoma Minute with the bow tie guy, Derrick Silas.
Top headlines overnight were, a man shoots himself at Edmond gun range. And according to the Department of Public Safety, there were 58 fatalities reported in May, with 3 being alcohol-related and over half of them not wearing seatbelts. Oklahoma Lottery says $3 million in prizes remain unclaimed. According to the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission, Grant County has the lowest unemployment rate in the state. And Enid Sean Bird has built a 187-square-foot home in an attempt to downsize. Oklahoma University and Temple University have agreed to a 3-game football series beginning in 2024. And on this day in history, in 1912, Native American and Oklahoman Jim Thorpe wins the pentathlon at the 5th Modern Olympics in Stockholm, Sweden. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Steve.
Very good. What, Derrick, before you leave, what did you say about the game series? I missed that. Who's the 3-game series?
Oklahoma University and Temple University.
Oh, and Temple. Okay. Temple and And OU, okay. My alma mater. Okay, very good. Well, it's 7:35. Thanks for joining us again on this Thursday, July 7th. We have a special audience. We have some folks from the Commons, Greenbrier, help me, Derrick, Meadow Points, I think, and La Mesa Point. We have a bunch of individuals from there, and we appreciate them watching us this morning. And we want to say special happy birthday. I mean, look at my notes here. Trish Taylor is having a birthday on Saturday. So 2 days away, Trish, and I think Trish is at Meadow Points. Trish, we want to say happy birthday to you in a couple days. We're just making this a little bit early, but we're glad to hear from our friends in those retirement centers. We appreciate you joining us here on Good Morning Enid. Trish, we really hope you have just a very best day on Saturday. So blessings to you and happy birthday on July 9th. Well, we appreciate folks sending in pictures, and I have a special picture I want to share with you. All you have to do, if you have a vacation picture, send it to gme@enid.org, and you can see that young man right there. He happens to be my grandson. That's Owen. But Owen always shows up at the house, and every year we put out a bunch of flags in our yard in our neighborhood. And so it's a fun tradition that I enjoy, but there's a picture that his mom took of Owen getting ready to put out about 30 flags, I think it was. But anyway, we have a lot of fun. If you have an event like that at your house, or you're on vacation and you go somewhere, someplace cool, or the beach, send us the picture to gme@enid.org, and we'll put that on the air for you. So thank you, Penn, for putting that together as well. Well, as you know, Brooke is back. Every other week she shows up with the latest news, and I hear that Weird Al is in the neighborhood, and she'll fill us in on the blanks on that, or the information on that. So would you welcome back, because Brooke is back.
Good morning, Enid. Thank you so much for having me back this morning. Glad to be with you. We've got a lot of events going on at the Central National Bank Center. So we'll have on July 14th, we'll have YWCA Purses with a Purpose, and that'll be in the CMB Center Grand Ballroom at 11 a.m. There are tickets still available, and you can call the number on the screen or visit the YWCA website at ywcaenid.com for tickets for that event. It's a great fundraiser for the YWCA, and they will be raffling off the purse that you see on the screen. And then following on the next day, Friday, the July 15th, we'll have Kenny Rogers with Linda Davis on the Final World Tour. Now, Kenny Rogers is very talented. Not only can he sing pretty well, he's a pro-level tennis player, and he also dabbles in some interior design. So that's pretty interesting about him, but we do have tickets still available. So be sure to get your tickets if you'd like to attend that event. And then on Sunday, as Steve mentioned, we'll have Weird Al, and he will be here on Sunday at 7 p.m. Also, tickets still available for that event as well. Now, Weird Al, although under the fair use provision of the U.S. copyright law, he doesn't have to have permission from the artist to use their work for his music, but he does ask anyway, and royalties must be paid for that as well. So don't want to miss Weird Al. It will be very interesting and fun event to go to. And then lastly, we will have the Maybe, which is the Mid-America Youth Basketball Tournament, Friday through Sunday, July 22nd through 24th, and these children will be playing on the newly updated CMB Center Court. So back to you, Steve.
And Brooke, thank you very much. And Brooke did not mention this. It is the mandatory tour. So I guess that means it's mandatory that you be there. So we encourage you to get your tickets. Weird Al's coming up this Sunday right here in Enid, Oklahoma. It's just amazing the entertainment that's coming our way, and we certainly appreciate that. Well, at 7:39, holding steady at 81 degrees. Before our segment with Jomara and her special guest, I want to remind everyone to take a survey. It's a recycling survey for us here in the city of Enid. You can go to enid.org/recycling survey. There's 5 or 6 quick questions. And I think Derrick told us just yesterday about 300 plus have taken the survey. So we need 300 plus more, if you would. Go to that website, please, It takes you just a couple minutes. Again, I think there's 5, 6 questions about recycling here in the city of Enid. Gives us some direction on where to go with recycling. So enid.org/recycling survey. It's 7:40, and that means it's time for Jomara, one-on-one with Jomara, I should say. Thanks for staying with us.
Our special guest today is State Representative Chad Caldwell. Thank you very much, State Representative, for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
You were here about a year ago, and you're back to tell us what took place within this past year. Many things happened, and you're just going to share with us. Now, for starters, you represent the citizens of Garfield County, North Enid, and Enid, of course.
Sure.
So what method have you found to be the best way to keep in touch or keep connected to those constituents?
During session, I certainly email and phone call, probably a lot of emails, and my door is certainly always open down at the Capitol. When we're in session from February through May, I'm down there Monday through Thursday, and always love it when people stop by. But probably, to be honest with you, my favorite way to interact with people is just when I'm out and about at town, whether it's at dinner or out at Jumbo's getting groceries or whatever it is, to get a chance to talk to people. So I'm always up for however they want to communicate, however's easiest to them.
Well, great. And later on, we'll just provide that information so that they know. Thank you. Now, let's talk about what took place this past year. And it's called the Retail Protection Act. Mm-hmm. You authored a bill that allows the state to collect tax sales on those transactions between Oklahoma and out-of-state retailers. Can you explain that to us?
It's definitely an issue that's being looked at all throughout the various states. Mm-hmm. As our economy kind of shifts away from a traditional economy to more of an online economy. What this bill does, currently we have a use tax in the state of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. If it's not a brick and mortar store, Oklahomans are supposed to be paying a 4.5% use tax. Unfortunately, only about 4% of Oklahomans are paying that tax. So what this does is it asks online retailers without a brick and mortar store here in the state they have until May 1st of next year to enter into agreement with the state to voluntarily collect and remit the sales tax. And that would be state tax and as well as a local tax. So Enid and our streets and in our city of Enid would benefit from that as well. And if they don't want to do that, then it asks them to just notify the consumer about how much they purchased at that store over the past year, to send them a form so that the consumer would know what amount they would need to pay the use tax on.
Okay. So the consumer actually will have that responsibility as well to finding out how much they spend.
It's either or. So either the retailer itself will collect and remit the sales tax themselves, and then the consumer doesn't have to do anything. It would just be like buying something at any brick and mortar store here in Enid. Or if they don't do that, they would notify you about what your use tax is, and then it's up for, just like it is today, mm-hmm. It's up for the consumer to voluntarily pay that use tax.
Okay, and when did you say this will take place or be effective?
Sure, the bill is effective now,
okay.
But they have until May 1st of 2017 to enter into that agreement, and then after May 1st, they either have to collect and remit the sales tax or they have to notify the consumers about how much they bought in the last year.
Okay, so we'll be seeing throughout this year how this takes place,
right.
And
that's
probably
right.
Next summer you'll have an idea.
Sure.
Of how the program is
right.
running.
200 of the top 500 online retailers already voluntarily collect and remit sales tax to mm-hmm. the state. So that number hopefully will increase and just kind of levels the playing field with our Oklahoma businesses, those businesses that are investing back in our communities, hiring Oklahomans, supporting our ball teams and Girl Scout troops and those kind of things. So.
Right. So I just wanted to, just for you to clarify, people when they think about tax and another expense, this is not something in addition to their purchase. Well, what to say? They have to pay their shipping and handling, but it's as they would visit a store. It's not an additional tax.
Correct. It's and really, like I said, there's a use tax that's already owed that just a lot of people. So it's already taxed. It's on the books. This just either helps compliance with that, or it's just the same tax that they would get if they went downtown Enid, down on the square, and bought something from downtown, or went out west or wherever they were going. It'd be the same tax that they would pay there. Nothing additional.
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that. Now, what do you identify as successes in the last legislative session?
The budget certainly gets a lot of the attention, obviously, for good reason. But we did have a lot of other legislative successes. We had a couple education bills, I think, specifically, were successes that I was actually able to be a part of in my role on the Common Education Committee. But we either reformed or repealed a couple mandates that were costing our schools millions of dollars. We, like I said, either repealed or reformed them, but still in a way that would allow us to hold our schools and our students accountable. So we reformed our teacher and leadership effectiveness evaluation system. If you see it referred to as TLE, that's what that is.
Okay.
So we reformed our TLE system, as well as we ended our end of instruction exams. One of the complaints that I heard from parents and from teachers was that we had a culture of over-testing in the state of Oklahoma. So we worked together. There was about 6 or 7 of us in the House that got together that worked with Superintendent Hoffmeister to really work on eliminating some of those end of instruction exams. We ended up eliminating 9 tests that will again save the state millions and millions of dollars. And actually, every test now, except for one, we added a U.S. history test on there. But other than that, every other test will be federally mandated. And I think it'll really give our schools the flexibility that way to save the money. But also, it's important for us. I know as a parent of 3 children myself, 3 grade school age children, it's important that we make sure that our students are learning and doing a good job there. So we tried to balance that out.
Right. I understand. And the main complaint is that sometimes the teaching goes towards testing instead of actually enjoying the teaching portion of it. So hopefully this will help.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good first step.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Now, a couple of years has passed since you began serving as state representative. Does the job get any easier?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense, I understand the process a lot better now. Being 2 years into it, I understand how things work, kind of the rhythms and how the process really plays out. So that part's definitely easier. Understand who to go to and where to go and how to understand all that. I think the legislative challenges this year was probably with our, because of the downturn in the energy sector and a $1.3 billion shortfall. This session was especially difficult, one of the most difficult in recent history. So yes, in some ways, but other ways, definitely not. So, but it was good. It was a good session, but I was also ready to come back to Enid for sure.
Great. Now, what else is happening this summer for you? Any main events or activities that relate to Enid or your constituents?
Well, for me, as far as looking a little bit forward for me, representatives get a 2-year term, so my first term is up. So I'll be back on the ballot in November. So I'm going to be spending this summer working hard and knocking doors and going around talking to the people of Enid, telling them everything that's happened in the last couple of years. But more importantly, I think for me is to listen to where they want to see our state going forward. We must continue to grow as a state. We must continue to move forward. And the reality is that those of us that are fortunate enough to be elected to represent the people of Enid and Oklahoma, we don't have all the answers. We got to go back and we got to listen to our people in Oklahoma. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Okay, thanks. I think we have time for one last question, and that is what. When you're out and about, what do you think are the main concerns, or when people approach you, what are the main concerns for the citizens of your district number 40 at this time?
Sure, I think budget is obviously real important. As I said, we faced a big budget shortfall this year. I'm really proud of the effort and the work that we put in. I started working on my first budget meeting, I think, was in October last year, so it was a long process. But that certainly is a lot of people's mind. We want to make sure that Oklahoma remains a really attractive pro-business state, that we can grow our economy forward. We can move that. We can largen our economy. We can diversify our economy. So that's probably the biggest issue that I hear about. And then getting government out of the way and let business operate so they can provide more jobs, which obviously stimulates our economy, which provides greater access and opportunities for our people of Enid. So those are probably the two, and they're certainly related, but those are probably the two biggest issues. And then the third would certainly be education, which in my opinion, probably is the most important thing we do as a state. So.
Well, Representative Caldwell, thanks again for taking the time to explain your new bill and what's going on at the state. Now, if you need to contact Representative Chad Caldwell, you can see the number on the screen, 405-557-7317, or you can contact him at the email address shown on the screen. Well, thanks for watching One-on-One with Jomara. Now, our department head video today. For our department head video, we have the city manager, Gerald Gilbert.
Hello, I'm Gerald Gilbert, the city manager for the city of Enid. The city manager is the chief executive officer appointed by and serving at the pleasure of the city council, and I am responsible for the day-to-day oversight and management of all city departments. My responsibilities include the enforcement of all laws and ordinances, coordination of all municipal programs and services, and of course, I make recommendations to the mayor and city council as appropriate concerning the operation, affairs, and future needs of the city. If I can be of service to you, please contact me at the number provided on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you for staying with us on this Thursday edition of Good Morning Enid on the July 7. Holding steady again, 81 degrees. Rather windy out there, so it's going to feel like a furnace today because the winds are out of the south at 20 miles per hour. I think we can show that heat index graphic again to just let you know that high today is going to be 102, so therefore with the humidity and everything that's in the air, we need to be mindful of that. So 105 to 113 is what it's going to feel like today. So as you're planning, take the kids to the splash pads or pool or wherever, or mow the yard. Mow at 10 o'clock tonight or something, because it is going to be a warm one. So it's 7:52, again, holding steady of 81 degrees. Thank you for staying with us. In case you missed the Oklahoma Minute, the bow tie guy, the other bow tie guy, Derrick Silas, is back to tell us what happened in news overnight. Derrick?
Top headlines overnight were: a man shoots himself at Edmond gun range, and the Department of Public Safety reports 58 fatalities in May, with 3 being alcohol-related and over half of them not wearing seatbelts. Oklahoma Lottery says $3 million in prizes remain unclaimed, and the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission says that Grant County has the lowest unemployment rate in the state. Enid's Sean Bode has built a 187-square-foot home in an attempt to downsize, and OU and Temple University have agreed to a 3-game football series beginning in 2024. And on this day in history, 1865, Mary Surratt becomes the first woman executed by the United States federal government. Her execution was for her role as a conspirator in Abraham Lincoln's assassination. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Steve.
How appropriate. We have a state representative in the studio. We're talking about the government and taking care of people. Wow, interesting. So I kind of like the Jim Thorpe story before, Derrick. That was a little bit more palatable. So anyway, thank you for joining us at 7:53. I'd like to remind you at 8 o'clock this morning, due to the fact that it's summertime and people are going to pools and splash pads and lakes, we have a special guest that Jomara had the opportunity to interview some time ago. Tracy DeLauder, I think is Tracy's name, is with the Coast Guard. And that show will be coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Very informative information about water safety and boat safety. Again, that's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. As you're planning for the weekend, let's look at the 3-day forecast once again. And basically, you know what? It's going to be in the 90s all the way across the board. Today's 102, but Friday cools off to 96, and it's almost fall weather Saturday at 96 degrees, all right? anyway, it makes the clouds on Sunday, so you can see it's still going to be warm and be in the 70s. So it's July. That's what happens. We're 2 months away from cooler weather. I keep thinking mid-September, it's going to be football weather maybe, and that's coming up. Also, what's coming up in September is the Walk of Fame here in the city of Enid. And Linda Parks, our city clerk, has put out the notice that we welcome Walk of Fame nominations. You can go to our website at enid.org and learn more about it, or you can call 616-7271 and talk to Linda Parks. And again, the Walk of Fame recognizes a couple individuals each year that have made a significant contribution to the city of Enid, and this began in 1999. So we're looking for nominations for the 2016 Walk of Fame, and we look forward to doing that as well. Okay, it's 7:55. Brooke is back for one more time to talk about upcoming events.
Hi, good morning, Enid. Thanks for having me back. Glad to be with you. We've got a lot of events going on at the Central National Bank Center. First, on July 14th, the YWCA Purses with a Purpose event. There are tickets available, and they'll be raffling off that nice purse that you see on the screen. For more information, you can visit their website or call the number on the screen. Then, we'll have Kenny Rogers with the Final World Tour on July 15th. Tickets are still available, and he is very talented, has a little interior design skills as well, so you don't want to miss that event. And then right into Sunday, we've got Weird Al, and this is a mandatory world tour, so you must be there. Don't forget to get your tickets for this event. It will be very interesting and fun. And lastly, the Maybe Basketball Tournament. That's Friday through Sunday, July 22nd through 24th, and they'll be playing on our newly updated C&B Center court. Thank you, and back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Brooke. Very informative, a lot of events coming to Enid, and just stay tuned for more updates on all the special events that are coming our way. Real quick, want to remind you that City of Enid is looking at ways to obtain water from Call Lake, and there's the Call Lake Project, and thank you, Penn, for putting that up there. If you go to our website, City of Enid website /Call Lake Project, you'll see some interviews, some videos, some slides, all kinds of information to get you updated on the Call Lake Project and how this would help with our sustaining water supply for the next, say, 50 years. It's 7:57. Good morning, Enid. Appreciate you joining us on this warm Thursday morning. We have this pet promo because we want to encourage you to adopt the pets. Keep your pets out of the heat if at all possible. Give them plenty of water. Bring them inside if at all possible. But let's watch this video and we'll be right back.
We are located at 1200 South 10th here in Enid, Oklahoma, and our phone number is 580-249-4910.
Yes, be mindful of that number, 249-4910, if you want to adopt a pet, dog or cat, and then they have other animals as well. So, and they also have a large pen out there where you can take your current dog, if you will, to go and see if it will be cooperates with another dog. 249-4910. Thank you for joining us today on Good Morning Enid. We want to say special thanks to State Representative Chad Caldwell for joining us this morning to keeping us updated on what has taken place. Well, here we are. Have a great Thursday. Remember, the heat index is in effect for today. High 102 is going to be a hot one. Until next time, make it a great day.